Over these gun statistics with Melissa Melton here from FBI.gov. I've talked a lot about these. I just looked at some of the statistics. 21% drop in violent crime the last 7 years. And then I saw Fox say 49, but they didn't give the actual proof. I went and looked it up. They were being accurate. It's 49 plus percent since 1991. Melissa Melton's here to cover that. Then I'll hit a few of the headlines up at Infowars.com. For TV viewers, we're putting graphics up showing from FBI.gov, and then we break down the numbers. And again, this is what you went to college for, along with journalism, so you've been helping us crack these numbers, but anybody can go check them for themselves. And then some will say, I thought you don't like government numbers. We know which ones are fake from economists and others, like the unemployment numbers or numbers on inflation. They used to be accurate 20 years ago, and they've gotten worse and worse, and we know how they cook them. The crime statistics are very accurate because they're compiled locally. And then they're cross-referenced by a lot of different universities and others. But the uniform crime statistics, go over these for people.
Well, these statistics come from 18,000 law enforcement agencies across the whole country. And you're talking city, college, county, state, tribal, federal agencies all over. So 18,000, they compile this data every single year. And they've been putting it up.
And it's from court records. It's all filed, the arrest, what was reported.
They report it to the FBI through their reporting system that they've had for many decades.
And so you got 18,000 groups that can cross-check their info. It's been found to be some of the most accurate numbers out there.
This is what everybody uses. This is our most consistent crime data that we have in this country. It comes from these numbers.
In fact, if they do anything, they've been caught inflating it to get money. So it's probably even lower than what they're saying, but go over it.
Well, okay, so what they have up right now is from 1992, and if you use the basic calculation for percentages, you'll see that violent crime, we'll start with that, has been cut in half since 1992. The 1992 violent crime rate per 100,000 people was 757.7. If you subtract the 2011 violent crime rate, that's 386.3. You get 371.4. You divide this by your original 1992 rate, that gives you 0.4902. Multiply that out to find your percentage, and you're going to have a decrease of 49.02% in violent crime between 1992 and 2011.
Incredible. And
the murder rate shows actually the same decrease from 1992 to 2011. In 1992, the rate was 9.3. In 2011, it fell to 4.7. If you subtract, you get 4.6. Divide that by your 1992 base rate, and again, you get a 49% decrease in murder rates in this country from 1992 to 2011. So it's cut in half. We have half. And actually, all the major crime categories that the FBI does collects all this data for have dropped significantly between 1992 and 2011. As you can see here, I've got all the numbers up there. Every single one of those numbers has dropped. Every single one.
Every one. The only crime statistics, we should do another report on this, is the petty crime, because criminals are afraid to home invade, carjack now, or knock a woman on the head. I mean, that was just prolific decades ago because they're scared of getting blown away. Now, you look at what you ought to do in the next few days is do this versus British crime rates. They've got those numbers. Just the muggings, the stabbings are just off the charts.
They have a much higher rate of rape there than we do here also. Their rape is going off the charts. I mean, a lot of their stuff, their violent crime is going off the charts. It's much higher.
They estimate in many states a third of women are packing heat in their purse. You're going to try to rape her in the parking garage.
Well, they've calling Britain the violent crime capital of the UK. Because it's higher. Their rates are higher for violent crime than, I believe, Australia, South Africa, here, and Canada. So,
did we cover all the statistics?
Yeah, that's all the graphics that I have here, all these different statistics. But, I mean, all of these are consistently down. Every single thing is consistently down. Anybody can go. They can get these reports. They can see. They've put them up every year for the last 20 years. So they can go to the FBI. They can download all of it. They can download it for their state. They can look at all of this different information right down.
And then you can double check. Let's say you live in Fresno, California, or let's say you live in
look at your specific city, and you can
Clearwater, Florida. You can go check those numbers.
Exactly.
Check it with the newspaper.
For the last 20 years, you can look at that. And they do this every single year. And like I said, this is used every time a criminal justice study is done. It's pretty much used. Every class I had in grad school, we use this data because this is the most consistent data that we have. And some people like to detract and argue about this data and say, well, crime is underreported. But if anything, I would say this is the...
It was underreported then. I mean, there are obviously some unreported crimes, but that's a constant in the pool. A lot of statistics I've read have shown it's more reported now because it's easier to report because the internet. And they let you do it with anonymity, which is unconstitutional. In the past, you had to go face your accuser.
Right. And over the years, the FBI has made their system of reporting from these local agencies easier for them to report their data as well and have a much more consistent...
Well, everybody knows there's less crime. When I was growing up in Dallas, I remember some weeks when there were like 60-something dead. And because, in the 60s and 70s, everything got real anti-gun, and gun ownership went way down. They were winning their war. Everybody was getting rid of their guns. Crime exploded all over, but then guns came back, and criminals are scared. But any police will tell you that. I mean, look, you home invade in Texas, you're probably going to die.
Yeah, I mean, I read a statistic today, and I didn't bring this one in here with me, but assault weapons are only used in 0.6% of all murders.
I know, and I kept trying to tell Piers Morgan, hey, these aren't even used. You're using this as just a tiny example to blow it up, to pull on people's heartstrings. And he's like, how many murders in England with guns? And I'm like, how many murders with knives?
And he didn't even cite his sources. And then Ben Swann went on